But tonight went like 3, 2, 1, go. And I'm like, hang on a second. I don't even know if we're ready to go through this yet. So,
mate, I've got to say, we missed everyone last week, didn't we?
We did. We missed everyone, but for good reason, obviously, with a couple of the events and sort of our awesome marketing team was kind enough to put together a brilliant little video. So everyone still got to see what we were doing, right? It was just that, Kent Herman, you're back to the top of the
Back to number one, my man. Back to number one.
Back to number one. He was like, you know what? These boys had a week off last week. I'll show them who's always watching.
So good, so good. So welcome, ladies and gents. This is our second last live Q&A for the year. I'm Robbie. This is Dan. We're from Axon Property Group, and you've now just joined everything about ADF property, life coaching, ADF transition, separation, whatever you want to talk about, basically. We're here for you guys. Let us know where you're dialing in from, and we'll pretty much answer everything you want.
Mate, Kent's on the train, so he's obviously entertaining his entire carriage then. Because I assume he's like, righto, I'll take the headphones off. Everyone can listen to Axon while I transit my way to the Roma Street station, and we'll see where we get to from there.
And we've got Junior's on there listening to him as well, making sure he's like along the way, probably tracking him with a bit of a GPS. Timmy McGregor's dropping in to say g'day as well. Hope you're well down in there in Newcastle, Tim. As a bit of a heads up, brother, we are going to be coming to do a visit to Newcastle in February-ish next year, mate. So keep a bit of an eye out for that. Let the boys and girls know in and around RAF-based Woollytown that we'll be in town, and we'll be doing a client meetup in town somewhere on a Thursday night, probably come in for a bloody steak and a beer and a catch-up. So that'll be good.
Shane Stewart, yay, Q&A night. I'm like, I know, man. We're excited too. We're back. We're back.
We are the same. We're the same.
Here's the real question. So next week is going to be our final Q&A for the year, right? So that means that we're going to miss the 23rd of December, the 30th of December, and then we're going to miss what is that? Then the 6th of January.
And then we're back.
What's everybody going to do for 3 whole weeks when we're not online on a Wednesday night? There you go, Adam. Dialing in from isolation. Here you go. Save me from this boredom.
Mate,
you're in the right place.
You should join us tonight, Adam. I've got a cracking coaching session with Jacob and Sarah up in Townsville straight after this at 7:30. If you want in on it, bro, I'll let me fucking send you the Zoom link right now. Here we go. This is live TV for you. Right.
Just dial him in. Adam, you're now being dialed into a session at 7:30 with Robbie Turner.
See you at 7:30. Put some sort of shirt on, please. Don't sit there with your fucking guns out, because I need everyone to be concentrating on the screen. All right, Gordon Spooner, my man, you are joining us as well. Hey, I tell you what, Gordon, now that I see you online, here's a bit more live TV. I'd love you to share your thoughts, because we did a whole lot of stuff with you and Sam back at the start of the year. You guys were down in Melbourne, down in Cerberus. COVID hit, changed to Sam's working arrangements. Bit of a bloody, almost said pregnant pause then, but I don't want to upset anyone. Tactical pause, let's say, so take a knee. And we re-engaged during the week. Just write a couple of sentences, buddy. How are you guys feeling now? You are back on track. You spoke with your strategist. We've solved the problem for you, and we got something awesome coming your way. I think the boys might have even spoken to you earlier this afternoon. I'd love for you to share your thoughts with you if you're open to doing that for us, mate. Let everyone know how you guys are feeling. Jane Kelly's with us as well. We got lovely Natalie with us. Charlie Herman's online as well. Geez, we got 3 of the Herman clan. And the one and the only, the absolute amazing Dee Rosberg is on town as well. So if you guys have got any curly finance-related questions, Debbie's there tapping away on some other high-priority files for us. Hi, team. There you go. But if you guys want to know about some finance stuff and Dan and I can't answer it for some fucking unknown reason, it happens every now and then, but not very often. We're pretty clued up to what's going on in the finance sector.
Sometimes I just want to defer to the real expert, like the real expert in the room. If Debbie's here, why wouldn't we use that expertise from that perspective as well? So, no, it's absolutely wonderful. It was funny, like I was literally speaking to Deb 1 minute before we came online. She's like, aren't you meant to be somewhere at 6:30? I'm like, yeah, I'll get there.
I've spoken to her twice tonight as well.
So Deb's got us on speed dial from that perspective there. And there's another person popping up there, the Navy diver. He's just set all the young ladies' hearts are fluttering with that picture popping up there. So
remember, like back in April, all the girls are like, "Who the fuck is that?" They're like, "Navy diver, oi, bloody, who are you? Who are you?" But they all know he's just one of our mates now, and they're used to it. Isn't it? Familiarity breeds contempt. You know, like there's a really hot person that comes into your life, and you're like, "Fuck!" Every time I see that person, they're awesome. 6 months later, after you've seen them 20 times, you're like, oh, hey, mate, how you going? You just fucking get over it eventually.
You're just used to it then. That becomes your new normal. You're like, I only hang out with that really hot person.
That becomes your new normal. Mate, you're such a fucking great bloke. The new normal is high. Let me tell you that right.
Mate, it's mate, let's not get into the love-ins this evening. Put it that way. There we go. Jane Kelly. We love the Navy diver. She knows what we're talking about.
Hey, we went away last week, and I guess for those that follow us on our ADF Property Investors page, which is our sort of private group where we talk all things sort of ADF spam and acronyms and jargon and language, whatever else that no one else would even understand, even though
it's our safe space. If you don't follow us on ADF, and say it again, Alpha Delta Foxtrot Property Investors, ADF Property Investors. If you're not following that page already, go and add yourself to that now. Actually, wait 55 minutes until we're finished here and then go and add yourself to that. But sorry, mate, sorry to interrupt.
Or I was going to say, I reckon wait 2 minutes and Noah will probably drop the link in the bloody chat box. So, go ahead and drop in there. So I basically said, if you're wondering how it is that literally in March, Axon turns 4. Stand by for what that 4th birthday is going to look like. I haven't even shared this with you yet, mate, because I rode to work this morning, 30 odd minutes, rode back home again this afternoon, tunes in the ear. That's an hour where I've got fucking me blocked out for the world and my thoughts driving along from here, past through the Broadwater on the Gold Coast and then back again. And I'll come up with shit, and I've got some amazing ideas for not only next week's last Q&A for the year, but also what we're going to do for our 4th birthday. So, Dan, I need to download that to you another time away from here. So
I love hearing whatever harebrained scheme it is that you come up with.
Harebrained scheme.
I love it when I come in the office sometimes in the morning and you're like, I've had this really good idea. And you explain it to me, and I get my phone out, and I'm like, have you got one of those apps that Mark Zuckerberg's got? Like,
yes.
Obviously, you've just been listening to what Anne and I have been speaking about for the last 48 hours, and then we're just like straight online from that perspective. So they're not always harebrained schemes, absolutely.
That was good. So if you guys are wondering, like, how is it that myself and Tamara, almost 4 years ago, quickly joined a few months later by Dan, almost 4 years ago, have now grown from the 3 of us to nearly 13 of us in that very, very short period of time. So I'll tell you what it is. It's our willingness to plan. It's our willingness to reflect. It's our willingness to understand what those lessons learned are in a sort of continuous improvement loop there, and then effectively go ahead and plan what's happening for the next 1 year, 2 years, and 3 years. And we bump it right by 1 year every annual planning day. So, mate, it was bloody excellent to go up there and have sort of, what do we have, 11 or 12 people with us in Daydream? So we had the whole crew up there. There was a couple of people that couldn't make it for various reasons. Adams, who's sitting in ISO at the moment, who's just flown in from Kabul, has missed it by this much. But that's just one of those things, brother. You'll have to wait till next year now, or wherever we're doing it for the quarterly one. So just to have that intellectual horsepower and having everyone answer the questions and writing it all down, and obviously you've got now the copies of all that stuff. I am so pumped to go ahead and dissect that with you and Tamara and another sort of couple of key advisors to actually come up with what we're going to do. But I'm fucking more than, if I could levitate off my chair and fucking not break anything in front of everybody and fucking break the internet. There's such amazing things coming your way for the Axon community about how we're going to entertain you, how we're going to educate you, how we're going to inform you, and how we're going to serve you over the next couple of years. What about you, mate? What did you get out of it?
It's one of those things that I certainly recognise we're in a very fortunate position that our loved ones, our other halves and everything like that back at home actually allow us to up stumps on a Monday and fly to a tropical destination, sometimes not even speak to them for 5 days, and then land back wherever we need to be on the Friday as well. So it's obviously a very, very unique circumstance, and way better than doing like TARP planning in the ops room, for example. Like at least like 50% better than TARP planning in the ops room, right?
But conceptually, that's what we were doing, though, right?
Absolutely. Like everyone who's been in the military knows you need to plan. We just did a different style of planning from that perspective that's sort of been tweaked to our personal. It's like an S map or a J map on a little bit of drugs, really. So it's a little bit
simpler. It's an Axon map.
The A map, the Axon map. There you go. So with the ability to sort of go and use our own refined planning tool there, and I think my favourite part is actually reflecting on what we spoke about 12 months ago, and we were like, this is what we're going to achieve over 3 years, right? And I sat down there and I'm like, all right, let's bring up what we're going to achieve in 3 years.
3 years.
And literally just like, done it. I'm I'm like, there's like 2 things left off the 3-year list. I'm like,
And that was in 12 months.
let's dream a little bit bigger this time. So it was great to have, as you sort of put forward there, the intellectual horsepower in our room that allowed us to be a bit more of a dream rather than just like what we could see from a conceptual perspective directly in front of us.
Yeah. So please rest assured, Axon community, Axon fam, Axon movement, whatever you sort of refer to you guys as, that there's so much awesome stuff coming your way. So as I can see there with Dan Hamo, he is strapped in. Put the strapping tape on or strap on, as I said, in front of fucking 150 cadets down at Duntroon many years ago, and I fucking had the whole joint laughing at me. They were about to go and do exercise Shaggy Ridge, and I'm like, so I said, we got some strapping tape. Can we put the strapping tape on our ankles? I'm like, sure. If you've got the tape over there, you can put your the strapping on. It didn't fucking go down too well, but it was, yeah. Anyway,
the cadets would have loved it, mate. The other instructors, not so much.
Yeah, I'm like, shut up, Turner, you idiot.
That would be we're way more professional than that down here teaching instructors.
No, they're fucking military morons. Like, I've got blokes in the room here right now, Luke Millwood being one of them, amongst others, who fucking saw me down there in my bloody element as a captain instructor. I was fucking way more than professional. I was like I am here, jovial, entertaining, passionate, no bullshit, and fucking tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. So keep strapped in, Dan. And by the way, I've got to remind everyone, this is a PG/MA session, if you haven't already guessed. So if you're listening to us on your little device with, fucking Johnny sitting in the corner or Sarah sitting in the corner over there, going, Mummy, why is that boy?
Go and get your headphones out, put things suckers in your ears, or else your children are going to learn some not so PG language.
Love it. Luke Millwood's here. G'day, fellas. G'day, Axon crew. Mickey Galliner, howdy team. Hope all as well. Gordon Spooner, here we go. So you've answered my question for you, mate. And then Margie Grunts have got the posters. Amazing. Gordon Spooner, we are super excited the ball start to roll again and so happy that you guys found a property for us so quickly. Can't wait to start everything again. Thanks heaps for the coaching and assisting us. Like, it's Gordon, that's why we're here, buddy. That's what we do. Like, I hadn't spoken to yourself and Sam for a couple of months just to give yourselves that breathing space about what's going on. And isn't it funny? Like, we do 90% of our communications on bloody Zoom, but I don't know about you, Dan, but Gordon and Sam said, we feel like we've known you guys for years. Isn't it amazing the connection you get with people just by doing stuff exactly as we're doing now?
Well, mate, and yes, absolutely. Like, it's wonderful doing it this way. But the other thing is, the things that you're speaking about with Gordon, for example, are deeper things than they probably speak with their closest friends and compadres about. Like, it's one of those things. Aussies are terrible about speaking about money with each other, and that's probably why a whole lot of Aussies have got really shit money habits as well.
True.
If everyone was open and honest and transparent about what they do with their money and the ideas for investing in how they're creating wealth in their life, everyone's going to be way, way better off, and they would have shared a lot of things. But I'll tell you what, no one likes to talk about how they haven't been successful. They haven't liked to talk about I made a mistake over here. They're more than happy to go, they told us something wrong, but they're not happy to own up to the fact that they might not have the best habits themselves as well. So yeah. I suppose the reason that I think people think they've been speaking to us or listening to us or following us for 2 or 3 years when they might have only been there for 12 months or something like that is because of the depth of the relationship you create over that small period of time, which is no longer just superficial on the top there and you're just talking about bullshit. When you go down the pub with your mates and you just talk smack for the next 2 hours, it's actually deep, meaningful connection that allows you to go nice and deep from that relationship perspective. Yeah,
I was just sort of reflecting on what you're saying. We haven't spoken about this for a little while. The whole, money won't make you happy. And we all know someone in our life, sometimes even a rich relative, who's an absolute fuckhead. And they're an even bigger fuckhead because they're rich and they've got money and they think they can do and say and think and act what they want because they got money. So they're but deep down, they're miserable and then, they're just bloody projecting a certain facade to put on a bloody show, whilst others are around. Most people should be sort of nodding their head in some way, shape, or form. So money doesn't make you happy. Got it. But you and I both agree, and we've all been there, a severe lack of money will make you very unhappy at the same time. So you've got to be a happy balance there, doesn't it? It's got to be a nice sweet spot whereby, and you and I, every single coaching session we have, even though we're on separate coaching sessions now, running our own teams and have done for, 18 months or so, please correct me if I'm wrong and there's a fucking trend that's crept in that I haven't seen. Most people, when they're talking about the goals that they're trying to achieve, is They just want to avoid any stress around money, or they don't want to have to worry about money, or they just want to have that financial freedom or financial security to go do shit and not have to worry about having to fucking save their ass off for it. Agreed?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. The reason I was giggling so much at the back end there wasn't because it wasn't serious, but no, if you bring up Chris Phyllis's comment there, he said, I'm doing a shot each time the boys cuss. I reckon, mate, you're about fucking 6 to 8 shots behind after Robbie's little 2-second rant there, mate. And you know what, mate? If that's the game that you want to play, then certainly you're going to have a long night ahead.
And what about the Navy diver? My F-bombs complete in.
But no, it's more than money, right? It's about the why, the depth, the reasons why you actually do these things. Because, yeah, sure, you can have all the money in the world that you want, but I'll tell you what, fucking you could be a super rich person in the graveyard as well.
Yeah, and all you got, you're going to go to bloody to the grave with your money. So, what else was I going to talk to you about tonight? Shit, I had something on the tip.
What else are we doing Daydream? Let's talk about Daydream, because everyone that I've spoken to since is like, hey, how good is it to be on Daydream Island with your work team? Like, I'm like, yes, it is absolutely pretty good. What else do you reckon, like, away from the work-centric stuff, what was your favourite part of Daydream?
It was the personal development stuff that Tamara, my wife Tamara, and the co-founder hosted, really. Mm-hmm. And what she did is there's this thing called, it's going to fucking escape me now. She's going to kill me. Oh, fuck. Anyway, there's 11 trades. I can't remember. I've got a mind blank, ladies and gents. Very rare.
Right. Tammy, I'll put him in the shit here.
Yeah, she's around a friend's place at the moment having a glass of wine, probably listening to me in the background. It's like the languages of love sort of thing, but it's like fucking life lessons. There's 11 of them, right? The Purpose Playbook.
There you go.
When you come in the Timor Island RT, that was another fucking funny story. We'll talk about that another time. So this Purpose Playbook talks about the 11 aspects of your life and you answer 4 simple questions. And then following on from that, unbeknown to all the team, as they got to answering 44 questions, 11 times 4 is still 44 when I went to school, we're like, all right, cool.
Hand cramp.
Now that hand cramp, and everyone was like writing as fast as they could. Now here's a piece of nice paper, a couple, and a nice little envelope. Write a letter to yourself that explains how amazing 2021 was. Now, you did this. I've done this activity before, so you're actually a participant in this activity. I can't speak about how it made me feel going to do it because you obviously done it recently. And, you know, how were you dissecting a lot of that stuff and writing a letter? It's like, and by the way, all those letters are sealed. They're sitting in our safe here in the office. Everyone will open them in private and share with the group if they want to or not in 12 months' time. And it'll be a good little understanding about here's the story I was telling myself in December 2020, and here's where I did or didn't go come December 21.
Yeah, I think the first thing I said is like, mate, I can distill this down into about a 30-second summary, and I don't need my second piece of paper here. But I suppose one of the things that I did get given was I get it down. You've got some macro ideas. Dive into every little bit of detail about your life. Like, tell me every single little micro element. And it's a letter to yourself. So you're like, let's think about things. What's the thing that you have been scared to sell other people about as well? And you put it down on a piece of paper and you steal it in an envelope. And like, now it's just time to, if people want to take it to a deeper level about why we provide accountability to our clients, we need to also provide our own accountability to ourselves as well. So when you write a letter to yourself and say you're going to open this in 12 months' time, and you're either going to be impressed with what you've done over the last 12 months, or you're going to look at yourself as a real disappointment, guess what? When you look at that from an introspective perspective and you're like, if you fucked any of these things up, mate, then you're in trouble. Yep. It's like you start to take your own commitment to a whole new level from that perspective. So
there's one person we can never lie to, right? And that's the person in the mirror.
Yeah.
That person knows the truth about everything. And I'd be terrible over my life in trying to tell myself one thing and actually fucking the other dude's just looking at me going, you're a fuckhead. That's not actually what you mean. And I'm not being disingenuous and I haven't been dishonest and I'm I'm a GC on the GC, put it that way. But I failed myself in so many endeavors that I could have done so much better at if I had applied myself properly. Yeah. So, I guess, I try not to be fucking too deep and meaningful here tonight, but I guess we don't want to just jaw off about fucking how many bedrooms each fucking investment property should have, for instance. But, this is the versatility this is some of the versatility that you guys are going to get from us as veterans now reaching out to other veterans and current serving members, and the rest of us to sort of follow us. Stevie Lakovic, my man, thank you for joining us as well. We're here to make you guys better people based on the fucking mistakes and the observations that we've all made, being able to successfully transition from the military, and we've now found a new purpose. We've got a new, goal and reason in life, having successfully transitioned. So you're going to get it from us, both barrels, as far as that goes. So yeah, think about that, ladies and gents. Think about what lights your fire. And as we sort of come to the end of this year, and certainly next year, some of the next week, I should say, the theme's going to be New Year's resolutions. New Year's resolutions should be about if you've been procrastinating, as so many people have, and Dan, I think you've sort of come across some clients recently that have been following us for 2-3 years, and they've finally bloody put their hand up and went, all right, I want to have a chat to you guys now. We're like, man, you could have had this conversation bloody ages ago. So like, when are you going to get off your ass and actually like put a plan together? And like, dreams are dreams, but when you put your dreams on a fucking handwritten piece of paper, not typed out, handwrite it properly, get the head and the heart and the hand connection going properly, put it on paper, those dreams become goals. And when they're written down, the likelihood of you achieving them is just so much more. Take it from someone who never used to do this shit. It's actually, it was something I was telling Damo when we were in Daydream. I can't remember where I got this from. I want to say my business mentor, Jack, who works with Stev, but I can't be absolute clear that he was telling me this. And sure, we're talking about the power of journaling, which he does speak a lot about. And then I got it in my mind from somewhere. I must have heard it from someone else at the Entourage, for instance. And they're like, when you journal, and you journal so hard and you journal so deep and you journal so honestly and so raw and real and get it out of your head, and then you scrunch it up and fucking put that piece of paper in the fire so no one can ever see what you've written, but it's out of your head and you're fucking over it and you can move on with shit. They're like, it's the most powerful thing in the world. I've never done it before, but they're like, that's when you truly start to get stuff, get clutter, get dirt and grit and mud out of your head and your heart, and you just fucking live your life in a so much more free way. So I am yet to give that a go, but I certainly need to have a bit of a crack. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
You need a fireplace, mate.
I haven't shared that with you before, have I?
No, you haven't. But yeah, I like to think I declutter my head by using our Skype chat that I use at the end of the night. Yeah. And it might be like 10 o'clock at night, and I'm like, I need to get this little piece of information out of my head. Yep. So the boys in my team in particular knows that when they're getting messages at like 10 or 11 o'clock at night, they don't need to answer those, because it's just me like getting shit out of my head so that I can actually go and actually have a sleep at night and be able to live when I wake up the next morning and just be able to look forward and focus on that stuff as well. There you go, Anthea Lee. Written goals are 2.5 more likely to be achieved than those that aren't.
100% Navy diver, passion and drive, operative verbs oozing from us. Thank you, my brother. Jane Kelly, perhaps we need to run these sessions not on a school night. Don't get me wrong, Jane. I am at my creative best, let me tell you, when I'm downstairs in the pool with a beer in my hand, probably on a Sunday afternoon, and I just think about shit. But then I leave half of it in the pool because I don't have a fucking dictator with me, or I'd get out and fucking dry myself off in it. I'll leave it. But away we go. Who else? So Tim McGregor, Chris is going to end up on the floor after this stream. Ha, ha, ha. 2021, I'll have an investment property, I hope. Margie Grunsel, here's the thing, my dear. I know we're due to catch up on Tuesday afternoon next week. And I look forward to all of the discovery sessions, but you, because such a great fan and advocate and supporter of Axon, I can't remember when we first come across you, but we'll cover off on that when we speak. Because here's the thing, I've never met you. You probably feel like you know me already, but that's all right. I'll play that bit of human catch up when we actually see each other. Hope is not a method. Like, imagine being a young Army, Navy, or Air Force officer and go, all right, sir, I've done my planning, and I hope this is the mission that we're going to achieve. He'll be like, no, bugger luck. Fuck off. Go back. Have a think about it. Hope is not a method. We don't hope anything. We don't live on hopium. We put a plan together and we strategize and we scrutinize and we basically put branch plans and courses of action together. Sorry if I'm losing some of the junior NCOs in the fucking group, because I used to be one and I never fucking knew what this was either back in the day. But we do it in a military style fashion whereby failure is not an option, and it is going to happen in some way, shape, or form. I did my 7th session with a client last night who I met earlier this year or late last year, and they're still 5 sessions away from getting started. But I'm holding them accountable. And you know what? Since I spoke to them 2 months ago, they've got rid of 2 credit cards and they've saved more money. Purely because, as the saying goes, humans only do those things well, Dan, that are going to be checked by someone else, right?
Absolutely. Like I spoke about it before. If you can't be your best accountability buddy for yourself, you need to find an accountability buddy to make sure your shit gets done.
Yep.
That's the summary of it.
Yeah.
Argy Grunts, I've now got a random question because I just looked you up on Facebook then, mate. How the hell do you know Luke Millwood? And what is that connection? And I don't know if anyone wants to tell me what the story is there, but I've just like you've gone up another peg in my book by the fact that you guys are mutual friends as well from that perspective. So
look at Chrissy Phillips is getting carted.
That doesn't pay. As long as he's got his rifles locked away at this point in time, I'm quite happy for him to do whatever he needs to do.
So good. Sammy Wynn, my mate and I are already mentally preparing for IP number 2. Talking through what money mistakes we've made before now. How can we avoid them? How can we put us in a better position to get that ball rolling as soon as we can? You are an absolute superstar. The steps that yourself and CJ have made, Sam, are just phenomenal. I know that your frame is halfway up in your beautiful home up on the hill there in your chosen location in a big, amazing 2-story house. Like that house is going to be the envy of everyone in that estate because it's pretty much at the highest point and it's going to be a big banging 2-story place built by a freaking amazing builder. There you go, Chris. I'll dial it down a bit for you. RSA, brother, I got you. Where, you know, Sammy and CJ, you are going to love that. Like, I know it takes a little while to get going, but certainly as you just experienced, my dear, once that slab goes down and that frame goes up, you're like, holy shit, there's actually something that's been erected in front of me and it's a house. So it certainly does come along very, very quickly.
Yeah, that's good. But one of the things you just spoke about before, I think, was talking about the amount of preparation that some people take, and it sort of it kind of just reminded me of a conversation I had with James, one of our other young crew today, and he was talking about a mate who's thinking about investment properties, and he's like, yeah, I'm considering it. I know I'm going to be able to in the future, this, that, and the other. He's got his funds. He's ready. He's got it set aside, but he's like, I've just started a new job. So I know the banks won't touch me for 3 months or so, so I'm not even going to bother doing a thing until I've now been cleared in the eyes of the bank. Because of this preconceived idea that he has developed in his mind because of some of those well-meaning family and friends that you've got there in the background. But I mean, I just sat there today and I'm like, I'm sorry, James. I know he's a good mate of yours, but you can't help people who aren't ready to go down that path yet. And I reckon there's a whole bunch of people who are on this chat tonight or on this conversation tonight that are probably sitting there telling themselves, I'm not ready yet. Or I'm only going to be ready in 6 months, or I'm only going to be ready in 12 months. Because I spoke to a couple last night. Nate and I did a coaching session with these guys, and they said, we will be ready to get our first property in the end of 2022. By the time we laid it out for them, it's like, you're ready to go in less than 6 months.
Wow, that's awesome.
Realize how the process can actually happen to be able to leverage. So it's one of those things that I get it that people think that they know where they're at in life, but the reason that they think that they know they're at that point in time is because they don't necessarily know better, and they're not willing to push themselves to try and achieve those longer term goals that they do have from that perspective.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah. Can I share with you 3 amazing calls I got to make today?
Shoot, let's do it.
With the extension of the home builder grant, that was going to finish for 25 grand and on the 31st of December. And I'll say this now because the 3 people I spoke to were like, really? I thought, fuck, everyone knows about this surely, but they don't. So that's fine. That's why we track this stuff and everyone else lives their life. Although you, Dan Hamo, you did like, I heard about that. I wonder if we're going to be able to weave it in. Anyway, so Dan and 2 other people I spoke to today went, hey, now that we've got a 3 months extension on the home builder grant and they've abolished the 3-month build start time from build contract signing out from 3 months to 6 months, it just broadened the scope for now 3 clients that did not have any home builder grant on their plan. Guess what? It's fucking on there now. So there's a combination of 15 or 25 grand that's just been injected into our client's plan based on us as their coach monitoring the market. We're like, hey, how about we do this, this, and this so we don't miss out on this money? Would you like to do that? They're like, fucking oath. I actually think one of them said that to me. Sorry, Chris, have a shot. They said, yes, indeed, sir. I would like to do that, please. That's a softer way of doing it. So I was with Damo and James in the office today, and I just, I don't know, I just had amazing feelings of joy that I could then bring to those people going, hey, based on the strategy, if I was you, if we tweak this, this, and this, you're going to get 25 grand. Would you like to do that? And it's just great. So good.
Nothing.
Office of State Revenue probably hates me because they're like, there's more money we've got to fucking hand out. I thought these guys were going to slip through the cracks. If someone talks like that, Office of State Revenue, I'm sorry. Anyway, you get the picture, right?
Absolutely. Man, like the one person on there that nearly beat us to the punch, that nearly had the story before we got it there was Anthea Lee. She sent it, she was straight onto it. As soon as the information came out, she got the newspaper, she's taken the photo, and she's like, look at this, fellas. I know, Anthea, that came off a phone call that we had about 5 or 6 days beforehand where I'm like, let's see how this stuff plays. If we're going to be in with a shot, then we're going to be doing some funky stuff with your contracts, and we're doing that in the background as well, as you sort of know about there, to make sure that you sort of posture yourself in the very best position to be able to get your hands on that sucker as well, mate. So
awesome.
It's an absolute game changer for those people. I mean, we've been talking about this for a while, about those people that you can take a property off the market, and if you're going to go and live in it, it doesn't need to be something that's ready to go today. You can put steps in place to be able to get it like in 4 or 5 months from now. And just those people who are willing to put their hand up and say, hey, I want to go and live in X location. I understand it's going to take a little while longer and everything like that. And eventually they've just sort of, their cards have fallen their way in this particular instance, and they're $25,000 better off, which is not a bad payday.
Mate, you know me better than most other people on this planet, and I'm a super optimistic and positive person. But because it wasn't mentioned in the recent federal budget fucking at all, I'd written it off. I'd mentally discarded that. I was like, all right, cool. They're going to keep the first home owners grant, no dramas. But I'm like, and they extended the first home loan deposit scheme. Yeah. But they didn't mention anything about the home builder grant. Oh, that ship sailed. That's unfortunate. And then when it came out, I'm like, what? I was fucking just down there listening to the news. I'm like, and the home builder grant's been like, fucking what? The fucking home builder grant? Rewind on the Foxtel, and sure enough, mate. So it's just bloody amazing news that but it happened only a few days before we went away to Daydream, and now we're back from Daydream and actually sit down and assess and strategize properly. Bang, bang, bang. Phone calls made. Here we are.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's pretty. It must have felt amazing, mate, to be able to sit down and have that conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
Corey Clancy, do you know if they have any plans for something like it after this one ends? Glad it has an extension though. We've answered this question before about 2 or 3 months ago, where Robbie and I both said, what do we reckon is going to happen? And over to you, mate. What do you reckon they'll do after this one?
I don't know is the answer. So you guys already know my bloody my views on this. Superior commander's intent, i.e. fucking ScoMo. And Frydenberg, I don't call him Friday, but this just come out. Let's stimulate the housing market. How do we do that? Here's $25,000 to go towards building a home. Now, the housing market as an entity who's going to benefit from this doesn't fucking care whether it's an owner-occupier or an investor. I don't understand why the investors were discarded and that's my little beacon, right? Only the owner-occupiers could go ahead and do this. It fucking beggars belief as far as why that would be the case. Because there's a whole slice of people that were going to build a home to achieve superior commander's intent that fucking can't contribute. So it's just a changing of the bloody goalpost, mate. Like at the end of the day, I see that I think that the COVID, as I just see the word vaccine there, Luke, the opening international borders and the inevitable increase in migration, et cetera, be prepared for a fucking massive rebound, a global rebound. Like you saw today in Britain, is called V-Day, Vaccination Day. They have now just started the World Vaccination Program. And whilst there's been hundreds of thousands of people, even here in Australia, that have lost their job, there's fucking, so let's say 10% of Australia's lost their job, 90% of Australia still kept their job. And 90% of us have fucking been saving like that. So when I spoke to Gordon and Sam, they've fucking saved like 15 grand in the last couple of months. Why? Because they can't fucking spend any money. And then there's got all this pent up frustration and pent up demand and pent up release to go buy shit. And you watch the fucking economy go nuts after this. So hopefully, Luke, that sort of answers your question there. I absolutely think that it's going to be on for young and old across the share market, across global markets, across the property market. Actually, here's something that we uncovered in Daydream, mate. We went through all of our stats, didn't we?
Yep.
So we've had nigh on 100 properties or so either being built now or finished being built this calendar year. And what were the stats of the days? How many days from key handover to tenant being found?
8 days.
8 days throughout COVID. So when you're talking about, oh, fuck, I'm not none of our clients did this, but if you were thinking, I better not buy a property during COVID because I'm not going to find a tenant because everyone's fucking locked down. The industry standard is between 4 to 5 weeks after key handover, and we built 100 properties, and the average was 8 days from key handover to tenant being found. So, and I'm going to tell you right now, there's some military style concurrent activity executive planning that goes on at the back of the build to make that shit happen with our partners in the industry. So it bloody works out very, very well. I just want to go back to another question I saw from Corey Clancy, my man.
I'll just top off Corey Clancy. Corey, while Robbie says we don't know, I would say there'll either be nothing or there'll be an extension for another 6 months between $5,000 and $10,000. My opinion is they ratchet it up and they're just going to slowly ratchet it back down over that period of time because they don't want everything to fall off a cliff when it's no longer available. So they want to try and smooth that out until the industry can sort of run through from that perspective as well.
Yeah.
And to you, Bulldog, when the international borders open, where do you want to be, brother?
I know.
Where does your lovely wife want to be? Does she want to be back where she was? Like, where does all her family and friends want to be, mate? Like, do they want to be somewhere not Australia? I'm not like picking on any other country, but look at how Australia has performed on an international stage when we talk about this from a pandemic perspective, I suppose, and how we come out at the back end of it and how everybody else is sort of living their life in Australia compared to, let's go over to Europe and let's do some of those things that people have been locked down for 6 to 8 to 10 weeks, whatever, like months at a time with hundreds of thousands of people are dying. Everyone knows you want to just be able to get back over here into Australia, and buddy, that's going to drive the population back into Australia as soon as those borders get back open again. As soon as Qantas with the big ruddy red kangaroo, once they start flying again, we'll be good to go.
Sorry for giggling. You're absolutely right, Chris Phillips. I don't know if I can keep this up for another 30 minutes. Oh, gold. Shit. What else was I going to talk about? You
question from Corey Clancy.
Oh, you pretty much just answered it. That's fine. I was just going to add on to it. So you've covered off there, mate.
Cool.
You missed out on an amazing meeting that we had with one of our building partners today, with Sebastian and Alex.
Yeah.
And mate,
really time entertaining one of our clients that flew down from Townsville. So
awesome. I know. That's great. I was levitating off my chair listening to these guys speak about the land that they are securing for their exclusive partners like us that's never going to see the light of day going to the public market. So if you're like going, oh, I'll just do this myself and I'll just do it my own, I'll just keep an eye on realestate.com and domain and I'll find the fucking perfect bloody property or the perfect block that no one else is going to get to see. All of the master plan communities across Southeast Queensland, Newcastle, and to a lesser extent Melbourne, not that we're really concentrating on that at the moment until Melbourne finds its feet again, though I am supremely confident that Melbourne will, like, you know, talk about a bounce back. You don't get one of the world's most livable cities nearly 5 years in a row, and then you'll be fucking just dropped down to 20 where no fucking wants to go to, you know, for the next bloody 10 years. So you watch Melbourne bounce back big time. They're basically talking about, there's going to be exclusive access to amazing blocks of land that no one else is going to get their hands on. Only those that know people in the industry are going to get access to it, mate. So I can't wait to share that with you then when we catch up again soon. I was levitating off my chair.
Yeah.
No, it's really good.
I think it's one of those things that times have changed a little bit at the moment. Like, we went through a very, very long period of time where people used to be able to walk in the land sales office and be like, here's 50 different blocks of land for you to choose from, and there's a huge amount of supply and stuff like that. But we've sort of reverted into, I think, a world at the moment that, if people remember back to Melbourne maybe 2 to 3 years ago, where people would be sleeping outside the land sales office for 48 hours before the land sales office had a new release of land, so that they could have a lucky dip and pick a lot number out of there, and you can either have that lot number or you can go and fucking sleep at the back of the line again for another 48 hours until you get the next release of land, right?
Yep.
I think we're seeing now that we're moving into a really strong atmosphere where it's like, if you don't have a way of getting a block of land before it even gets released to the public, you're probably not going to see land for the next 6 months.
Yeah, agreed.
Like at least 6 months. Like I'm looking at land now for clients of ours out until like 2022.
Yep.
So that's how far in advance people are now starting to think and forecast and be able to take those blocks of land off the market, which is like for you, Corey Clancy, you're like, my goal is hopefully 2022, 2023. Well, guess what?
Planning.
Like, guess what? We're helping clients. Like in February, I will be taking blocks of land off the market for February 2022.
Yep. It'll be 12 months in advance. Pre-sales.
12-month pre-sales. It'll be good to go. Like, I'll probably get one myself, actually, when I think about that.
But especially here in Queensland, that is like the biggest benefit that you get, and the lowest risk is that you can put $1,000 down, Corey, to secure that block. Then you're fully protected by a finance clause for 12 months while you keep saving and sort your money habits out and fucking deploy or whatever you're doing. And then you come back, and when you need to get your finance approved in February 22, if you get your finance approved, happy days. If that block of land's gone up by $30,000 in that 12-month period, you get instant access to that equity. That's freaking amazing. But if you can't get your finance approved in 2022, you just pick up your chip off the ground, metaphorically, from the bloody table, you get your $1,000 back and you walk away. So there's no risk. As opposed to buying a property down in Melbourne or Newcastle, where they'll ask you for a 10% deposit on the block up front, let's call it 25 to 30,000. And if you can't get your finance approved in 12 months' time, you lose that 25 grand and they fucking sue you for damages. So please be careful, ladies and gents, if you want to do this by yourself, if you are buying blocks of land down anywhere other than Queensland, from a risk management, like if you're a novice and you're doing this for the first time, fucking be careful and just don't fucking come whinging to me if you do your dough because you didn't do the right amount of planning and you didn't read the fine print and you didn't have a coach that was looking after you, that you might bloody, get it all bloody Pete Tom.
I did speak to someone maybe about a week ago, and they bought their first property up here. They bought an established property, so they think they're property moguls. Think they're property moguls from that perspective, mate, and they're going to go and buy their dream home down in Newcastle, apparently. And as they said to me, we know what we're doing now, and I'm like, just be careful. Make sure you've got some support. Make sure you understand how this works. So
100%.
It's a bloody dangerous game where people can be done out of tens of thousands of dollars if they're not understanding of the actual implications of what they're signing, what their deposit means, what their exchange means, and all those different elements that you need to be able to do to play at that next level as well. And it's not scary when you know what you're doing and you put the right risk management strategies and stuff like that in place.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, if you're trying to have a crack by yourself, it's probably a little bit intimidating.
Because the last property I bought was down in Victoria. The last property you bought was down in New South Wales. So we do know what we're doing. We have got actual experience in doing this for our own self there. Let's just sort of run through some of these questions. So Margie Grunstall, home builder grant, own home or investment property. Sorry if I didn't answer that clearly before. Definitely own home only, not for investment property. Lukey Millwood, can you give us a sneak peek into some of the unclassed goals for Axon for 2021?
Yes.
Go for it.
We're going to do some face-to-face visits around Australia, bro.
That's one.
Pending travel, we'll be heading to Darwin, your Townsville, your Adelaide, because, we've got to go down to the Barossa and McLaren Vale and just make sure that all the vineyards are all in place down there from that perspective. But also obviously heading down to Sydney, Newcastle and Canberra. So now that we're going to be able to travel a little bit more, we're obviously finding ways to put it in the calendar. We're going to be able to get out and about and spend a lot more time doing face-to-face things with our clients.
Very
full transparency. It's highly unlikely that we'd be like hiring a presentation room and sharing info and everything like that. If we're turning up in your city, we're just coming to have a beer with you. So get mates together and come down to the pub so you can just speak to some other blokes and have a good chat. some ladies, actually. I reckon you reckon we should take some other members of the team, mate? Just make sure we've got a good spread of people.
We will take some, not all. There won't be fucking 12 people rocking up. The same.
100%. Visit Mum. There we go. Mum. And she's been listening.
Oh, Mum, I didn't know you were listening. I shouldn't have said fuck so many times. Sorry about that, everybody. There you go, Chris. Another shot for you, buddy.
What else do you want to give anything up as well?
I want to share Unclassed Goal. Like I said, there's going to be more entertainment and more information and more education and more community feel coming your way. Ladies and gents, we're going to hire a videographer. So we're going to have someone following Dan and I around, per se, and you're going to see, if you are sick of seeing us on your Facebook feed, we're not that big on Instagram. We're not that big on YouTube. We do this every Wednesday. Batten down the fucking hatches, or as someone said earlier before, strap in, because there is going to be so much video content. It's, as I said, entertaining, emotional, life skills, ADF transition, property stuff, research, finance, whatever you need is going to be coming your way on a scale that you have never seen from us, and certainly no one else is doing in the ADF/veteran property space. I'm fucking pumped. I love doing these sessions. I kin these sessions, right? Think about this for a second. Anyone at any time can jump on right now and ask any question about anything, and I'll probably fucking answer it, right? It's like me standing on the front of the bloody Titanic like Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm the king of the world, which I'm not, but I am the king of my own lunchbox. Like, it's fucking exhilarating, and I love engaging with you guys because you can see me, but we can't see you. Yeah. So hopefully everyone's enjoying themselves as far as that goes. So be prepared to see more of the Robbie, Dan, Dane, and Tamara show. That's another little thing. My wife, Tamara, the co-founder of Axon, is going to be massive as far as the next stage of Axon. So I hope everyone's looking forward to getting to know her and her story as well.
The thing I'm looking forward to about the videographer being around is, like, sometimes I have these like really good ideas, but then I like tell someone the idea and no one can remember it later on. So it's going to just be a great opportunity to have have thoughts collected, so I don't sit there like 2 days later going, what was that thing we were talking about?
Yeah.
It's just really good for memory recollection from that perspective. So
yeah.
Anthea, Sonny Wagga, come on, mate. Like, what? Your lovely other half, when we come to Sydney or something like that, or even if we're in camp, like, I don't care which one you want to come to, but make sure you get invited. Come on up, grab
Sydney and Canberra
for a day or two, and you can be there as well.
Sydney and Canberra, absolutely, we'll be doing that. So, mate, I am really, really looking forward to that. And oh, by the way, if you're in Townsville or if you're in Darwin, if you want to get a bit of insight about when we're coming, check the V8 Supercars calendar, because that's the weekend we're coming. I made a captain's call, which I don't do very often. I'm like, if we're going to go, not as often as I could. We're going to go to Townsville or Darwin, we're going there when the fucking V8s are on. So let's wait.
Let's go. There's Anthea's coming to Canberra. Anyone else? If there's a bunch of people in there and you're like, I've got a specific location I want to go to, like, let us know whereabouts you are in Australia, and we'll tell you which one you can come visit.
Yeah. Please do. I tell you, let's put it over. Like, we've got heaps of interaction going on tonight, which is amazing. Yeah. What do you guys want from us?
Glastonbury, mate. What about that? Let's talk about locations for funsies.
Oh, go for it. All right, let's do that.
If you got that one there, no, it's cold Glastonbury. What do you think of Caboolture and South Ripley for investment purposes?
Sure. You want to start with this one?
Sure. I'll launch into it. Cole, there's a reason that I like refrain from giving out exact location advice, and it's not because I'm trying to be like, oh, I'm going to be real cagey about this because it's super valuable, and like, it is super valuable. The thing that makes it valuable, though, isn't the information. You can go on the fucking internet and get that shit, right? You can do your own research. Everyone can do that. But is it the right thing for you is the more important question that you should be asking for yourself. I'll go out there and say, in almost 100% of circumstances, Caboolture is not a good investment location for anybody, in my personal opinion, because I think that for the last 20 years, people have been talking about how eventually Caboolture is going to connect up with Brisbane and all this. And it's been said for 20 years, and it's going to be at least another 20 to 30 years before it actually comes to fruition, my friend. So I'm not a big fan of Caboolture from that perspective. And then if I talk about South Ripley, like, I don't dislike it. It's just, actually, I kind of like it. I'll give you that one for free. I like it from an investment perspective location if it's the right thing for you. depending on what you're trying to achieve, depending on what your portfolio needs and everything. This is why we do the coaching session, because we get to dissect all that, because I can turn around and I don't mind it. Like, I like it as an investment location, but it's not the right property for Robbie to buy next. It's not the right property for me to buy next. It's not the right property for Dane, the other coach, to buy next. And it might not be the right property for you, Cole. So that's why we take everyone on through their journey, and the process exists to make sure you choose the right location for your individual circumstances, for that property to fill whatever gap you need filled in your investment portfolio.
Yeah, we've got our 7 ingredients to a healthy property market. We've got a philosophy that works. Every single location that we've been helping clients with now for the last 4 years has gone up in value. I've got clients who've never even heard of South Rip. South Rip is a fucking great location for some people. Some clients, they've never even heard of South Rip because I'm like, that's not for you. That's for whatever reason. So what Dan's just gone through then could not be closer to the truth, Cole. So yeah, take that for what it's worth, mate. I really appreciate your question though. You will have, ladies and gents, over the next, I'll tell you what, have a think about this over the break. When you're missing us over the next few weeks, so we've got next week's live Q&A. We're guaranteed to be here. We've got some surprises coming your way as far as that goes. Again, I thought about some stuff on the bike on the way home tonight that I want to share with Noah and get approval from Tammy and Dan to make that happen. Have a think about, what do you want from us next year? Like, we're here for you. We're not here for us. I wouldn't fucking care if there was no one on the line. You know, actually I would. I'd hang up because it's not for me. It's for you guys. So just have a bit of a think about, what do you want to know more about? Do you want us to do a masterclass about X, Y, and Z topics above and beyond what we already do? So I really, really just don't need to put your answers to, just stop typing, everybody. I'm sure everyone's like, but yeah, please do have, put a bit of emotional capital and thought into that, because, if you want to know about anything, especially as we branch into other areas like life coaching, ADF transition, smart money habits, entrepreneurship, like think about how many bloody business owners there are, or how many veterans have now transitioned into being successful business owners.
Yeah.
You want to attempt something difficult in life, go do that. But you know what? There's plenty of people that have also been reasonably successful at it. So it's not that insurmountable. Again, if you approach it with the right mindset, get your axons working properly. Sometimes I point the wrong side, but I hope they've got it right tonight. But so yeah, we're here to help you in whatever facet of life you want. So we're not going to be property specific. It's how we've built the brand. It's how we've helped the most people. It will remain our core business, ladies and gentlemen, because ultimately, at the end of the day, the fucking world doesn't run on love and pixie dust, right? But love and pixie dust is amazing glue to have as part of your repertoire to make sure the rest of your life is actually feeling quite good. Sorry, mate, I interrupted you.
Yeah, no, and I think you the reason that we're talking about all these other different topics is because every single person that turns up here on Wednesday night, it's not that we're just talking about property. I think Cole, you're the only person that's really spoken to us about choosing property locations and stuff like that. You got Margaret, she wants to know whether Robbie rides a push bike or a motorcycle. It's a push bike, mate. You don't want to see him on like a motorbike. That would be a terrible idea. But you got Brett who wants to know how many sandwiches can fit in your lunchbox. Like, the questions that we're answering at the moment are almost like not about property. So we're just trying to expand on that whole concept that we're talking about, just more than property. We're talking about people's lives and how they fit into the community from that perspective. So I've got a few ripper ideas, mate, when you want to start talking about entrepreneurship and how that fits together with the veteran community and some big players that are making some waves, like in the prime ministers, like in the cabinet world of representing veterans from an entrepreneurship perspective. I think there's certainly some people there that can come and give some additional insights. And it's one of those things, you give people insights and you give people ideas of what is possible once you get out of the Defence Force as well.
100%. I just thought of something then as you were talking about entrepreneur stuff. Fuck, did I just open up?
What are you doing that? Bulldog, yeah, brother. We need to link up in the 3rd week of January. So
that's exactly what I'm just looking at now for next year. We're in sync. We're going to be in Sydney, ladies and gents, Friday. So in February, 26, 27, 28 of February, confirmed. If we're just sort of talking about Sydney, Canberra, Wagga sort of stuff, I can tell you, yeah. So hot off the press, we will be in Sydney, 26, 27, 28 of Feb. But before that, for all of you people that are in Brisbane, let's put this on the radar. Saturday, the 30th of January, a couple of days after Australia Day, we're gonna be doing a big Brisbane meetup. So there's our first 2 cabs off the rank as far as what Dan was saying. A bit of unclass goals for 2021. We too have been cooped up from our Axon community. We too are fucking on the road for a lot of next year. So yeah, keep an eye out on our Facebook page. Keep an eye out on your emails. You can see now Noah, who's our amazing executive producer, who's running the show behind the scenes here. She would have been sending you guys emails twice a week now. So you're going to hear from us even more frequently in your emails. If you guys decide to sort of do that, there'll be replays of this. There'll be little snippets. There'll be more interviews. Actually, that's another thing that we want to put on the plate for next year. For you guys may have seen us interview a couple of clients that have gone through the whole process. If you've got the wherewithal that you want to come and join us on a Q&A just for half an hour to basically, everyone's like, what are we going to talk about? Is there a list of questions? I'm like, I don't fucking know. We don't have a list of questions to go on this. It's completely freestyle. So we really, really want to start to get a lineup of people that have gone through the Axon process to tell your story. Get out there, be bold, be brave. Like Sammy Wynn, who's on tonight, etc. The way you're feeling and what you've achieved, and Luke and Fran, etc. Please come along and share your story with everyone else. You can see it's no holds barred. I'm the biggest dickhead on this screen. You don't have to bloody feel silly. You'll get off the call exhilarated, and you'll want it to keep going, and you'll absolutely love it. So just go ahead and hit up Noah there about whether you want to come and join us next year. I'd love to
go for a quick scroll through. Anthea, I think that you should be sending an email to Noah. Bulldog, when you get some good comms, you should be sending an email to Noah to set that up. We'd love to have you on.
Aaron and Nikki Woodham.
Nikki, absolutely. You issue as well. Who else we got there? Chris Phyllis, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't come and do it live with us, mate. Let's do a live session with you. And you know what? Even when we do it live, you can have a shot every time. Robbie swears.
Kent and Tash Herman. How good would that be?
Absolutely.
What a fantastic story that is about. You're in your late 40s.
Guys.
Say again, buddy.
We'll sit down on a couch with them and have a good chat.
Yes. Yeah, look at this. I wasn't sure if Nate was listening tonight, Amy. Amy's little 9-year-old son, Nate. I haven't met you yet, buddy. I'm going to meet you soon. You're going to come to the office. You can come and stand on my bloody chair and look at the world on the amazing view that we've got down there. You can come and see where Mum works every day. So, yeah, mate, we'll get to catch up sooner rather than later, I promise.
Yeah.
All right.
We want to have more of you, more of our community to share their story. That's pretty much a part of next year as well. So
good. Karina, you're going to hear from Debbie, the mortgage broker, very, very soon with some fucking great news. And by the way, congratulations on getting married. There we go. The Axon community has just grown by one. Well, there's now a super couple that were sort of hanging out. They're now actually married. So that's bloody amazing. Yeah, Karina and Rob, when you guys finish building your house, you guys should jump on here and tell everyone. Because Rob's an MP down in Wagga. He's like, who are these fucking blokes? Oh, hey, mate, how you going? He goes, oh, yeah, what are you guys up to tonight? He was very standoffish when we first met. Now he's a fucking massive fan and is absolutely having a ball. So, Ken Herman's given us a little thumbs up there and away we go. So, hey, yes, they have, Debs. There you go. So that's hot off the press. Karina and Rob married on the weekend, just got their finance approved for their first investment property today. So this is happening all the time, every day in our lives. You're going to see our latest success story on Friday morning because we're going to be sending it out to you via email, and away we go. Grego's online as well. All right, I got to bounce, bro, because I've got another call at 19:30. So, Jake and Sarah, we're coming your way. Thank you so much for all the
success stories, bro. You're going to be one. I look forward to speaking to you guys on the Monday night. We're speaking again on Monday night, and you guys be one of those.
Considering we finish up on Friday next week, and if I could get everyone to see my calendar, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is while we're here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I've got 16 more client calls between now and Friday afternoon next week. You're probably about the same, right?
I don't even count anymore. I just turn up to where I need to be. But I tried to find somewhere to book a meeting in with Noah for an hour, and Noah, I don't know where you found time, but I think it's in my calendar. I'll be wherever you want me to be.
Adam, if you're still listening, jump on that Zoom call that I just sent you. All right, thank you so much, everyone. Great job, Noah. Awesome job with bringing everyone's questions up there. Thank you for joining us. See you guys next Wednesday. Don't miss next Wednesday. Something very, very special is coming your way.
Love you all.